Hi, welcome back. So I hope all the boys and girls are staying well. So boys and girls, do you remember last time we started to learn about the Cullasetta Jataka. Remember that? So we talked about Chula Pantakathero and Mahapantakathero, how Chula Pantakathero couldn't remember, who couldn't memorize 4 lines of the stanza for 4 months, and then how Supreme Buddha helped him, and then how he became an arhat. And then Supreme Buddha was about to tell the story how Chulapantakathero took the advice of the Supreme Buddha and became a very wealthy person. Are you ready? Are you excited to listen to that previous story, boys and girls? Okay, let's get started then. So boys and girls, long time ago in a country called Kasi, there was a king named Brahmadatta. So during this time, our Bodhisattva was born into a merchant family. So his name was Chulasetti. What was the name of the Bodhisattva? Chulasetti. So as Chulasetti merchant was growing up and getting older, he got a position to work in the king's palace. So one day, when the Chulasetti was going to the palace for work, so he saw a dead mouse. Oh, if we see a dead mouse, boys and girls, what would happen? We would run away, right? But Chulasetti didn't run away, and he looked at the dead mouse and he said, "Oh, like if there's a wise person, if there anyone who could think wisely, this dead mouse can bring so much wealth and so much success into their lives." And boys and girls, he said this and he kept on going on his way. So boys and girls, so Chulasetti said these words and he, kept on walking. There were so many other people who heard it, and they also, mind their own businesses, and they just, like going other directions. But there was this boy, a very, very poor boy, who heard these words. He thought, the Chulasetti merchant is very popular as a very wise person. He must have said these words for a very good reason. I should take those words into my heart. I should take this mouse and see what I can do with it, right? So he took the mouse, he picked up the mouse, the dead mouse, and he started to walk around the streets. And boys and girls, within a very short time, he saw a cat sitting by the roadside, like in one of those houses. And then he approached the homeowners and he asked, "Look what I have. I have a dead mouse, and I see you have a cat. Would you like to buy this dead mouse to feed your cat?" And they were very happy, and then they gave a little bit of money to the person and took the dead mouse. And this boy was very happy. What he did was, he didn't go to the store and ate candy with that. What he did was that he used that money to buy a little bit of honey and a pot, a clay pot. So what he did was he filled the clay pot with cold water, and he went and stood at the entrance where the flower merchants would come into the city from the forest, because they go to the forest to pick flowers so they can sell in the city. So the boy took his water and honey and then stood by the entrance so he could meet these flower merchants, right? So what he did was, he knew these people were very, very tired and thirsty. So he offered a little bit of honey and some cold water to these flower merchants. And boys and girls, the flower merchants, they were so happy to receive this cold water and honey, because they have had a long day, and that really helped them to quench their thirst and tiredness, right? And in return, boys and girls, as a gratitude, each one of those flower merchants gave a bunch of flowers to this boy. The boy was even more happier, so he was able to sell all those flowers to the people in the city. And the next day, he bought a little bit more honey than the previous day and cold water. And then he stood at the same place. And the same thing happened. And the boy offered honey and water, cold water, to the flower merchants. But boys and girls, do you know how pleased the flower merchants were? So the previous day they only gave him bunch of flowers, right? Like each one of them offered bunch of flowers. But this day, the next day, they were very pleased and they gave half of a flower branch to this boy. And the boy was so excited, and because he was able to earn a little bit more extra money than the previous day, right? So he sold all the flowers and he got some money. And boys and girls, couple of days went by, and so now this boy he has 8 golden coins. How many golden coins, boys and girls? 8 golden coins. So he was spending his time like this. And one day there was a huge storm, and he noticed that in the king's garden all the branches, dry branches from the trees had fallen down. It looked not very appealing. So what he did was he approached the gardener, the person who was taking care of the garden. He approached this man and said, "Sir, if you allow me to take these sticks with me, I can help you clean out all this space, clean out the whole garden." And guess what? The gardener was very happy to hear this, because then it's a less work for him too, right? So he said, "Yes, of course, you can take all the branches, all these wood, and just clean it." So the boy thought, okay, that's perfect. And then you know what he did? He didn't do it all by himself, because that's a big work, right? And what he did was he noticed that he saw some kids were playing around the area, and then he called over all those kids and asked them, "Children, would you like to have honey with cold water?" And they all said, "Yes, of course. Who wouldn't want to have honey and cold water, right?" So, and then he said, "But you have to do something for me before." And they said, "Yes, of course." And they all agreed. And then he asked all the boys and girls to collect uh, uh, the, the sticks. And they piled them up, put them into branches, and then they brought it to the gate of the palace, the garden. And then, as promised, this boy gave honey and cold water to those kids who helped him out, right? And he kept all the branches, the dry branches, by the palace gate. So while he was standing there, for his luck, the pot maker of the palace of the king, he walked by, and because he was looking for firewood, because boys and girls, to make clay pots you need firewood. So after you make the clay pot, you have to fire it to make it harden. So this person was short of firewood, so he happened to see the boy who was standing by the gate, and he purchased all of the firewood. And selling those the firewood, the boy received 16 golden coins. How many golden coins, boys and girls? 16. So from selling flowers, he received 8 golden coins, and selling the firewood, he received 16 golden coins. So do you know what he did? He still didn't go and buy a bag full of candy for himself. He thought of using that money to expand his business even more. Do you know what he did with that money? He bought 5 pots, so he can give loads of water to the people who are traveling in and out of the city trying to sell these things, like the traders, the business people. So he stood by one of the entrances where the merchants, the people who are selling grass, at the time the horses fed grass. So there are people, the merchants who would be coming into the city to sell grass to the owners of the horses, right? So this boy, what he did was he stood by one of the entrances to the city with honey and a big pot of cold water. So he offered honey and cold water to those grass merchants. So they were very pleased with his actions, and they asked, like, "Dear friend, you are doing such a great service to us. You are helping us to quench our thirst and our tiredness. So how can we help you? What can you do in return?" And he said, "Oh, dear friends, that's very kind of you to offer something in return for me. But not right now. Right now, I don't need anything from you, but I will definitely let you know if there's anything, any help that I require. So time went by like this, boys and girls. So he became very good friends with the people who were working on the ground and the people who would do jobs in the water, right, in rivers and things like that. So one day, someone who this boy got friends with came up to him and said, "Oh, I have some news for you. So a horse merchant is coming into the town with 500 horses to sell." So, and this boy, soon as he heard it, he thought, I should make use of this opportunity. Well, that's a great opportunity. So what he did was he went looking for those the people, the merchants who offered help, like the merchants who was selling grass. And so he went to those people and said, "Friends, so do you remember that you offered to help me one day? And then right now I need some help from you. I need a favor from you." And they all said, "Yes, please let us know." And then he said, "I need a bunch of grass from each one of you." And they all agreed. They were very happy to give him some grass. So he said, "I have one more request to make if you don't mind." And they all said, "Yes, yes, please do tell us." And then he said, "Please do not sell your grass before I finish selling mine," right? And they all said, "Yes, friend, of course, we can wait until you finish selling your grass." So this boy was very happy. He loaded up all the grass he received from those people, and he went to the city. So, boys and girls, meanwhile, the horse merchant who came into the city, he was, like roaming around the whole city looking for grass for his horses, right? Until they were sold, they need to be fed. So, but he couldn't find any grass at all. So and finally, he came across this boy with grass. So this merchant, the horse merchant, had no choice but to buy the grass from him for whatever the amount that he said. So the boy received 1,000 gold coins for the grass, and he was very, very happy. Just imagine, from nothing, with a dead mouse, he got 1,000 gold coins within a very short period of time, right? So a couple of days after, boys and girls, another friend of his, this boy who's working at the harbor, came up to him and said, "Oh, dear friend, I came with some news. So a big ship has arrived in the harbor. You might want to make use of that opportunity as well." So boys and girls, after hearing this story, the news from his friend, so this boy, the poor boy, he gave 8 golden coins and got a baker for himself, and then he dressed up with beautiful clothes and pretended to be a very wealthy merchant, and he went to the harbor, and there, boys and girls, he gave a beautiful ring to one of the workers there, and then he sat down. So boys and girls, because this person has been giving honey and cold water to other people, like everybody really liked him and they all wanted to help him out. That's why he's been getting all those good news, right, from everyone. So boys and girls, after coming to the harbor, this person sat down as a very wealthy merchant, like pretending like a very wealthy merchant. He sat down in a very, very special place, like a very prominent place in the harbor, which was covered with beautiful drapes. And then, boys and girls, the merchants from the city of Piranhas came into the harbor to purchase, in order to buy goods from the ship, right? So remember, I told you that because this boy had given water and honey to so many people, so everyone was friends with him, right? So there was a group of people that had gone to the harbor with him, and what they did was they approached the merchants from the city of Varanasi, and they said, "Oh, merchants, today you will not be getting any goods from here, because there is a very wealthy merchant already arrived and he has paid an advance to for all the goods in that ship." And saying this, what they did was they took all those merchants from a different gate and then brought them to the boy who was pretending uh, as a very wealthy merchant. So after that, boys and girls, the boy who was pretending as a wealthy merchant, so he took all these merchants from the Piranhas, city of Piranhas, into the ship, and then they all gave him 1,000 gold coins each, and then so went into the ship and bought goods and paid another 1,000 from each of the merchants. And boys and girls, from this deal, so he made a deal, right? So he was sort of the middle person, and then from that, boys and girls, he got 2,000 gold coins. How many gold coins, boys and girls? 2,000 gold coins. That's a lot of money, right? So boys and girls, this boy was very happy. Now he has 2,000 gold coins. Boys and girls, here's the best part of this story. From the 2,000 gold coins he received, boys and girls, he kept 1,000 gold coins for himself and took the rest of the money, and he went to see the Cullasetta merchant. And then when he approached Cullasetta asked, why are you what are you doing here? Why did you bring all this money for me? I don't even know you. And this boy, he was very humble and he was very honest. He has qualities, boys and girls. And he said, "Oh, dear sir, so one day when I was on the road, you said you saw a dead mouse and you said anyone who can think outside the box would be able to make a fortune out of this dead mouse. So I took your advice and here I am. I made so much money. So as a gratitude, I have come to pay my respect to you with 1,000 gold coins." Boys and girls, Chulaseti merchant did not expect such gratitude, such quality from a boy that was on the street, right? The boy could have like easily kept all the money, but he had so many qualities. So Chulaseti thought, this boy is very wise. He took my advice and he had become so successful. I should not let anyone else own this boy. So I should get my daughter married to him because he's very wise. He should be he should be in my family, right? So Chulaseti merchant got his daughter married to the boy. So boys and girls, the Supreme Buddha, after telling the story, addressed the bhikkhus and said, see, bhikkhus, so someone who listens to and take the advice of wise people and with a little bit of effort and who can think wisely can gain so much successes into their lives, even with a tiny thing, right? So that was a dead mouse that made that the poor boy into a wealthy merchant. So boys and girls, so you know matches, right? So to set a whole forest on fire, we just need a small match. So we have to be careful how we use it. And finally, Supreme Buddha reveals who was the poor boy was. So the poor boy was Chula Pantakatero in this life. And at the time, I was the one who was born as Chula Septi. So boys and girls, we have to remember sometimes we think about big things, but instead we should try to make use of the little things we start. We have to always remember to start small, and then gradually we can gain so much successes into our lives. So I hope the boys and girls who are watching us, who have joined us today, will make so much effort and think wisely and make an effort to gain so much successes into your life. I will see you soon. May you all be well and happy. Terwan Saranai, Namo Buddhaya.